going into her all the times, fired up, run me big dog, let me have my power, that's her power. Keep that, B11. Torque converter, clutch solenoid. We ain't worried about that, we ain't hooking that up. So go down here, we find 11. Alrighty, so we've got all of our wires here cut out. We're down to the bare minimum. Somebody didn't grind their welds on this bottom of this bumper. It's got me grabbed. Oh, big old piece of welding wire sticking out right there, just stabbed me. Alrighty guys, so we're back. And gals who are. Anyway, so we're working on the old new race Jeep over here, the white Jeep. And I got a lot of time and effort and all that in this thing, and I want the wiring harness to look nice. As nice as can be anyways. I don't want this. I don't want to stop fuse block in it. And there's a bunch of this junk that we just simply don't need. So in today's video, we're going to go over how to simplify an XJ harness. All of them, 96 and up, should be very similar to this. Colors might not be the same, wires might not be identical, but they're going to be very close. I have a 96 here. It's just, I think it's my favorite. My other one's a 96. I think it's my favorite here, so that's what we got. My motor's got WJ injectors in it. I either got to swap these plugs over, make from these to the WJ, or from the WJ, or put the 96 injectors in it. That's later on. So mainly what I started with is I got the harness out. I pulled the harness out of the Jeep. Every plug I knew I didn't need, I cut off. So like your windshield wiper bottle, your headlight plug, your your evap, transmission harness. We'll wire in the switch like we do normally on the transmission, so we don't need a transmission harness, we don't need a part neutral safety. So then I got on Charm Li. Well, I pulled it out, cut the plugs off of it. I went ahead and I cut 90% of the loom off of it I cut the loom off of it, and I ain't went much further. That was before I picked y'all up. I was trying to get a good starting point. So get this trash out of here. So I went through charm.li and I printed off these nifty papers here. I actually ended up, I made a whole book. This is all the PCM wiring. Every plug you need, what it goes to, where it goes, how it goes, what splice point, what color, what plug it goes through to get to where, the generator, ignition coil, PCM. I mean, it's got what size wire it is, whole 9 yards. So I went there and made this. So then I went through here, through this right here, and I got this nifty little deal here. Let me come around here and show y'all. Maybe y'all be able to see this. This is the pin out for your 3 PCM connectors over there. Your black plug, your white plug, and gray plug. Black, white, and gray. And if I labeled it green, it needs to go to key on. Orange, I need to remove it. Yellow is keep because it probably goes to a sensor. Pink is always hot, and blue is going to be our grounds. Not our sensor grounds, or not the grounds computer supplies, the ground to the computer. Some of these are on splice points and stuff. That's beside it. Also, not to overwhelm you yet, so we're gonna start here. We're gonna start the PCM and work our way back around. So if you think about it, the bare necessities of a wiring harness, 96 harness. If you ever thought about or went through it, how it works, the bare necessities, let's look at this. Dang, I just wasn't looking. So ABS pump, starter, fuel pump. I haven't decided yet. I know where the wire is to run our fuel pump, but we'll probably do a key on the fuel pump. Probably how we end up doing it. AC clutch, we don't need that. ABS system, we don't need that. auxiliary fan, we do not need that. ASD, believe it or not, we don't need that. We're canceling that out. So all the thing the ASD does, you break it down to the brass tacks of it, and I got the wiring right here to prove it. Automatic shutdown relay. So if you look here, your automatic shutdown, let me get y'all screen lighting up so I see if y'all see it. So hopefully y'all can see this. It comes down here, jumps into your orange wires for your injectors, sends power to all your injectors, which also coming out of this splice point. Remember, S115, right? All right, S115. Back up and pump for a minute. Sorry about this 15. S122, splice point 122. ASD relay, that's the first splice point you got. All right. Downstream of 122 is also your O2 sensors, which we're not using. Also downstream is your ignition coil power, your generator power. So pretty much what I'm getting at is, if we'll take it, as we dig through this harness, we'll start at the fuse block here in a minute, trace back, we'll find that splice point 122. It'd be one wire coming into this 122. We're gonna take it and jump power straight into 122 right there. A key on power, ASD's out of the book. You ain't gotta have nothing. Your crank sensor ain't gotta wake it up, wake computer up, this and that. You cut the switch on, turn it over, it'll start. It ain't gonna take the ASD to do it. Now, that being said, I know everybody knows the trick of, well, sometimes if it won't start and I put my hand on the ASD relay and I turn it over, that ain't clicking, 90% of the time it's crank sensor bad. You're right. You are right there. That's the easiest telltale sign of a crank sensor being bad. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but I got a fix for that. Shutdown relay control. C3. So gray plug, third pin. Third pin on gray plug is control. So that's the wire that comes out of your PCM over to your ASD relay and tells you, hey, in PCM sees crank signal. When it sees crank signal, it shoots signal out of the ASD, that control wire, over to your ASD relay, which then says, hey, ASD relay, wake up. Wakes up the ASD relay, puts power to everything else. All right, we're deleting that whole system there. We ain't worried about the crank sensor, we ain't worried about that. Crank sensor still has to do its job. Easy telltale way. One, I can strip this wire back and I can just take, if it ain't starting, I can take a test light, touch the C3. If I'm turning it over, if power kicks on, 3 seconds kicks off, I know crank sensor's good. Or if you really wanted to get fancy with it, you could have a little light. You know, like a little LED light or something, just so if it ain't starting, you look over at the light, all right, well, I know the crank sensor is good because it's triggering my ASD. Or you could take it, delete this, get your own mounted relay, a relay, and run this wire back into that relay. That way you can delete all this and still have a relay and still use it as an ASD relay. Multiple ways to go about it. The only reason I'm not doing it that way is I'm using, let me grab it here. I'm using the Auxbeam system here. So when you go in the Auxbeam here, all my stuff's already fused and solid state relayed. So if there is a problem, if there is a short or something, I'm already fused and all that. So I don't want to put this fuse and relay into another fuse and relay. Smelling when I'm stepping in there. So I'm running everything through this Auxbeam system. So if you wanted to put a relay off to the side, then you definitely could. But I'm letting you know I still have fuses and everything. I'm not just completely ditching the fuse system. I found this little deal and I like it. You ain't got to put toggle switches or nothing. You can make these on off. You can make it where you hold it and it's got to work like a momentary switch, or you can make it a pulsing switch. Yeah, toggle, momentary, and pulsed. Pulsing switch, like if you wanted a blinker or something, click it on, it would pulse just like a blinker. So it's a pretty cool little deal here. I don't think it's much. If I can get it all figured out, I'll tell you what, I'll put this Auxbeam in the link in the description below of the video. So if you're interested in this, click on that link and go over there and check it out. If you like it, get yourself one, which I'll show more on it when we get a little further into the wiring. But help a brother out, because I might make a couple quarters off the commission on that. So just if you like my content here and you like that and you might want one, I ain't asking you to go buy one just to help me, but if you are gonna go buy one, click that link in the description below and shoot over there and help me help you, so we can make more cool videos and do more cool things. All right, so let me get some dikes. Oh, some diagonal cutters. I'm sorry about that. Gotta be politically correct around here nowadays. Got a little pair hiding around here somewhere. Bingo! Alright, tell you what, we'll kind of bring this, maybe we won't get it all messed up. I'm gonna kind of bring this front center here. Hopefully y'all can see it a little bit, I can see it a little bit. I don't get in your way, you don't get in mine. Got my diagonal snips. We're gonna go through this. Now this video might be a touch long, but I'd rather give you every piece of information I can on this, and it'd be a longer video, and if you got to skip through it, back up, rewind, pause, play, whatever. And I'm gonna try to probably, if I can figure it out, throw some pictures in there and stuff for y'all. But yeah, I'd rather you have every piece of information you can than to try to make a short little quick video about it and you don't learn anything. Boy. All right, let's start here. So we're gonna go through here. So the quickest way I know to do it, the way I'm gonna do it, keep my head wrapped around it, start the PCM, we're gonna go through the PCM. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, disconnect this connector here. We're gonna start. First, you gotta figure out where, you gotta establish which way it's worded. Looking at it this way, they actually have it looking at it like this, but we're gonna go in like this. So A1 nothing 2 is gonna go to key on. So the way I'm going to do this, and I'll probably end up speeding a bunch of this up, is I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna pull all the way, I'm gonna pull every chunk of wire I can out of here. I'm gonna come to here. That wire goes to that wire goes to there. Bada bing, bada boom. And I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna snip this wire here. Still, even though I've went through this wiring a bunch and it's still gut wrenching, it's still scary. Make this a little dealio. Get the tail off. Now we can write on here. Key on. I'll flip it over this way. All right, key on. See you later, bye. See you later, bye. So I'll end up putting this back in here and taping it up with it and running it out where I need it to come out of the harness. I just wanted it out of the way. That way, you can't mess it up, you can't jack it up, or whatever like that. So that's how my plan is. Now what I'll do is now I'll throw a picture of this on the screen. And you'll kind of be able to see what I'm looking at, but I'm not gonna bore y'all with this. You know what? if there's, I'll just record. I'm sorry, I'm talking to y'all because I'm learning too. I mean, ain't never really did a video like this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record the whole thing, and I'll go through and I'll break it up, speed it up, time lapse. What y'all don't really need to see is me doing this right here, and then if I'm telling y'all something that's worth hearing, and I'm not blabbering too much, I will catch y'all back in and let y'all listen to me. 2, 3, 4, 4. That's A4 is a big one. That's your main sensor ground. 5, 6. 6. Park neutral. Don't need that. You would have to put this to ground. So if you were wanting to see your stock fuse block and all that, you would actually come up here and come out of the fuse block. So this wire, come out of these plugs back here. You have to find your park neutral wire. It's probably gonna be the same color as this, brown and white. Actually brown and yellow, it's right there. You would ground here. If you just wanted it to think it was in neutral all the time, you would ground it here, and that would put ground to places and your relay would work just fine. We're not using that. We'll run a jumper wire straight over there, so we get rid of it. 22. Pink. All right, 22 is your red. Your red here. Find your red. Shoot her back. All right, so 22 here, the one I just taped up, cut out. That's pretty much your memory wire computer. That's your main power for your computer. That's your hot wire going into her all the times. Fire it up, run me big dog, let me have my power. That's her power. 22, 23, throttle position. We got to keep that. 24, 24, 25. O2 sensors. See you later. Bye. If you want to run those, leave them. I'm not going to. I never do. I'm not going to start today. Ground. Bingo. So them two I stood off, that'd be your 31, 32, your last two on your black plug. The last two on the black plug. All your A's. Them are grounds. Or your computer. Chase them back, snip them down, send them off. I probably should have cut them over here, then I wouldn't have to, whatever. Anyways, wherever you feel like. Chase them back, cut them down, nip them off, throw them to the side. We'll run them back in the harness like I said. All right, black plug did. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it right here. We're gonna plug her back up. That way we don't lose it and get anything twisted up too bad. White plug, C101, white plug on your PCM. Start off B4, 5, and 6. 4, 5. So I'm not gonna say anything that don't have anything at all in it. So 4, 5, 6, and 10. 4, 5, 6 is injector 1 through 5. 10 generator, so your alternator. Keep that. B11. Torque converter, clutch solenoid. We ain't worried about that. We ain't hooking that up. So go down here, we find 11. 11, last one. Look, if you think you're scared or if you're nervous to cut it or wrong, look, B11, K54, 20 gauge wire, orange and black. 20 gauge wire, orange and black. See you later, bye. 11, 12, injector 6, need that. 15, 16, injector 2 and 4. And then we're gonna jump down here, there's nothing. And then you have B27 and 31. We're gonna cut out, it's the vehicle speed sensor signal, don't need that, and your 5-volt supply. 5-volt supply to your speed sensor, to your vehicle speed sensor. We don't need that. We don't care about every 5-volt supply we need is gonna be through. Well, every sensor is gonna have its own 5-volt supply, like your map sensor and all that. And then all the main voltage we need is gonna come through our ASD, you know, the one we're bringing in ourselves. So that'd be our bottom two wires here. And if you look, like I said a while ago, one of them's gonna be white with the orange stripe, white with the orange stripe, and orange, straight orange. Yep, that's them two. Bring them back here, snip it off, snip it off. Alrighty, so GoPro got hot and shut down on me. So let's hope I remember where I was at. So I remember I just cut these two wires out. Your two wires out of your C101, your white plug, your last two, your vehicle speed sensor signal, and your 5-volt supply. 5-volt supply is to that sensor. Oh yeah, I was saying all the power we mainly need is coming through our ASD that we're building. So you will see some 5-volt supplies in here, like this next one. Actually, no, you won't. That'll be our only 5-volt supply that went to a sensor that we didn't care about. All right, so we're going to plug that one back up because that one's done. Get rid of that. What? All right, now we're going to C165, our last and final PCM plug. Automatic shutdown relay control, C3. That is the one that I said we could wire in a light, whatever we want to do, test light on that. So what I'm going to do to this one, I had keep on there, and on the thing I have keep because if you run a stock fuse block, you have to keep. If not, you go through here, take this one here, blue and yellow. So I'm going to snip her back just a little bit. I know what's going on there. That way, if we got to test it, we can. We'll go right here, we'll go. See you later. All right, that was 3, 4, and then you have C11. 12-volt supply to speed sensor or something like that. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll tell y'all, that way y'all know. 12-volt supply, speed control on and off, so cruise control. We don't need that. All right, there's 11, 12. Automatic shutdown relay output. So whenever PCM says, hey, ASD relay, send power. Power comes out of your ASD relay, splice point 122, 122 to 115, 115, breaks off to all your injectors. Well, when it comes off to all your injectors, it also comes out of 115 and goes back to the PCM, to your relay output, so that the PCM's like, okay, ASD, you did what you were supposed to. All the wires from that point to this point, they're good. So it knows that the wires to this splice point, it knows that unless you cut the injector wires on this side of the splice point, all the injectors are getting power. It knows all, PCM knows the ASD is doing what it's supposed to. That's what that is. And I'll tell you what, I don't really know. That's the only wire that I'm iffy on. I don't know if I would want to say that we should be able to pull that out, but it's probably we're gonna leave that one. Because I'm not for sure. Somebody's here. I'm not for sure if we need that wire. I don't know if the computer will freak out if we don't tell it, hey, we got that. So I'm looking at the wrong plug. So that's 11. No, that's 12. Dark green and orange. And then 15, 16, 17 is cut out. That's battery, temperature, generator, lamp, driver, malfunction, indicator, lamp, driver. So your check engine light, all that. If you wanted that, you could have that. We ain't using that. So we're gonna cut them out. That's 15, 16. Technically, if you want to do this, you can still take 17. Malfunction indicator lamp. If you wanted to run it to your own light in the dash, you can still get rid of the fuse block and everything, and it would just trigger power. Whenever the check engine light's supposed to come on, this wire would get hot and it would cut on an LED light for you, if that's the way you wanted to do it. But we don't need them. If it's missing, it ain't running right. Check engine light's probably on. So that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 is your fuel pump relay control. Yeah, probably not gonna use that either. But I'm gonna do the same thing we did to this one over here. I'm gonna cut it long, just in case I do want to wire it. You end up running it. I didn't cut it too short. I can splice into it. 19, 20, 20, 20, evap, don't need it. See you later, bye. 22, 23, 24, AC, AC, and stop lamp switch. Do not need none of them. See you later, bye. Ashton's phone's ringing. Ruining the shot for us. 22, 23, 24. 25, nothing, 26. Fuel level sense. 20, all right. 27, 28, 29, and 30. What I'm going to do to these is 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm going to cut them back about yay long. About right here. So all four of these wires are OBD 2-port. So if you still want to tune your computer, if you still want to be able to check in your DTCs, your engine codes, all that, and still be able to plug up to it with a scanner, these four wires, and I also have the wire. I have the wiring in here for the OBD2 port itself, where these wires go on that OBD2 port, and you have to bring a power and I think a ground into it. So I think it's 6 wires in all. I'll throw that picture up here. That way, if you want to, I'm going to, but I'm fine with my OBD2 port being right here beside my computer. So that's why I just cut them short like that. So I'll be able to plug in and still do that, because allegedly one day might be building a stroker for this and we might do a little tune to it. But you'll still be able to tune it if you do this. Same way we do the LS stuff. 3132 tachometer signal if you still wanted to read your tach. Or if you still wanted, and then the other one's your speed control. We do not care about speed control. Speed control can get cut short. Tach, I'm gonna leave a little long, just in case we want to see the needle bounce. So if you look, really, we got one wire we needed out of that whole plug, and that is our automatic shutdown relay output. I'm gonna tell you what we can do later. Before this video is over, I will go out there to the white Jeep, find this wire, we'll snip it in half. We'll see if it still runs. If it still runs, we don't need it. If it doesn't run, we do need it. So got gray plug, C12. It's the only dark green and orange here. You'll see it still. Matter of fact, I'll tell you how we'll do this. Watch this. Still connected. Let me set y'all down for 1 second. Running fine. It's gotta have it. Alrighty, so we've got all of our wires here cut out. We're down to the bare minimum. You got your coil alternator. This is a ground for something throughout this system. I don't know what that ground's for, but we need it. It's a ground. Pickup and distributor, your cam sensor. Shoot it this way. Obviously, your injectors, engine coolant temp, map, auto air control, intake air temp, whole 9 yards, all that stuff. Got that. Shoot your wire harness over this way. PCM. Then you've got your tach, OBD2. This is our little telltale. Our crank. This is our ASD control wire. Then you get your hot all the time, your grounds, key on power, and then yeah, that's it. So The goal now is to, I'm gonna go set this on the motor, set this where it goes, because we know I haven't changed any of this. So I'm gonna set this where it goes, figure out the best way to route this, and we'll tape it up nice and neat. If we gotta fold it, we gotta fold it, whatever. I was gonna cut them back, but I'm just gonna fold it and we'll tape it up. I got some of the felt tape. We'll probably go through with regular electrical tape first, and like, let's say we're gonna make a T there. I'll tape around this, kind of tape around that, just kind of to lock it in, and then we'll go in from there and pretty up how we need it. Felt tape it up. Forgot we're gonna mount our PCM and all that, and we'll start dishing everything out that way. I'll talk about this when we get it on the motor to make a little more sense. So I'm gonna get y'all moved over there, kind of get this set up there, and we'll go from there. Ooh, old knee locked up. Ooh, I just run it into the bottom of that bumper. It's sharp. Hopefully y'all can see me good here. I got a chair and sit down a little low so y'all can see me. I was trying to get all of this in play here so y'all can see it a little more gooder. But somebody didn't grind their weld on this bottom of this bumper. It's got me grabbed. Oh, big old piece of welding wire sticking out right there, just stabbed me. Alrighty then, so somebody ramming on a truck, 5'3" it sounds like. But so y'all seen there in the last clip, I set it on here. I had to get my bearings about me, but this is it pretty much. I don't have it all hooked up yet. I just kind of mainly wanted to go over the gist and the wiring of it. Obviously it won't be running for a little bit, for another week or two. So I have full confidence in the harness, but if you want to double check and make sure that I ain't leading you astray, then here in a video or two, click on 2 videos from now, or wait till it comes out. Wait till it comes out, or click on 2 of the videos now if you're watching this later on, and you'll see it running. And if anything is wrong, which I highly doubt it will be, I'll go back in there and edit this. But yeah, so that's the harness. So you see you have all your stuff over here. I mean, this will get tidied up some. It's just kind of throw down. Injector plugs, engine coolant temp sense. We got distributor, ground, and this one will come over here. And I've got to make a harness from this to this because I'm running the WJ alternator, which I might see if a XJ want to mount on the WJ bracket. If it will, then I'll probably just run the XJ one, and then I won't have to build a harness. So that's all the engine bay. Simple, it's clean. Shoots down right there in the back. And I mounted the computer right here upside down. Obviously I got to finish taping this. I mounted my Auxbeam switch panel. Well, the Auxbeam controller, the fuses and all that right there. My switch panel will be right here. Connect them two. Got to connect these wires. I've still got to run a power wire up to that. My gauge wiring. I've got to run some wires for my shifter, but that's all. That don't have nothing to do with the standalone harness, and that's mainly what I wanted to go over here. All right. But before we end this off, I told y'all we were going to see if we needed that one wire. I got it brightened up. Let me fix this real quick. I'll pick y'all right back up. Alrighty, so I told y'all I took the ASD out, and I told y'all I was going to feed my own power in, and I was going to do it through that splice junction. Well, I ended up cutting the wire way too short, and instead of tearing apart the splice junction or something like that to get a wire back in it, I just went to I just ended up going to the C12, the green and orange that comes to the C12 by the computer. I just cut it, spliced into it, and teed out of it, and I'll feed power in there, and it'll feed back up through to the injectors and all that. That is a 16 gauge wire, where factory out of the fuse block is 14 gauge, but I think it'll be fine. And just don't forget, whenever y'all do it, don't cut your wire in your splice junction all the way real low. Leave yourself at least enough room to splice back into it. But yeah, that's the end of this. I know y'all probably seen this clip a little earlier in the video when it was about that wire, but I'm just filming it all at once here. So yeah, y'all seen the harness laid in the Jeep. It's all in there looking good. Hopefully here in the next weekend, next video, well actually the next video, I got a good thing I think coming for y'all. It's a I think I've come up with a way to take a fuel cell and put a factory pump in a fuel cell. So I'm kind of excited about that, I'm not gonna lie, because I've always struggled with inline pumps. It's always been a nemesis of mine, so we're gonna do it this way. I think it'll work pretty good. So I'll show y'all that in the next video, and then the video after that we'll be testing the wiring harness and the fuel pump and everything all together. So appreciate y'all for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all next time.